just by your answer, sweetie, I can tell you go, this is classic. Yeah, right, whatever. Here's what is on your mind. I'm a big, arrogant, big mouth fucking asshole, right? And you want to you want to destroy that any way you can.
Jim Morrison. How are you, man?
Really good, man. How you doing?
Real good, dude. I'm really excited to have you on the show. I really appreciate you coming on. You're one of those guys where it's like I'm calling in a favor. We've been buddies for a while. It's like, dude, I need you on the show. So thanks again, man.
Appreciate it.
You're super notable for like being the founder of Errl Cup. What can you tell me about that? How did it start? And I did a little bit of homework. It kind of sounded like it was a bit of a compassion project.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me about that?
My sister passed away, and after that, it was kind of a mission to look at it as she used to get the medication that was she had MS, so they would give her indicas instead of sativas because she needed her energy.
Mm-hmm.
After she passed, I was like, well, they're not doing anything about testing in relation to that, and it was basically a way to focus energy someplace else because after somebody passed away, you got to do that if things go bad. So with that, it just snowballed. I mean, we went out and mailed out to all the dispensaries, tried to get them to participate, and told them what we were doing.
Yeah,
and
that's a grind, right?
Yeah, that's not good. Well, I had one lady tell me over the phone, she goes, you put out a wonderful package, but they're not going to call you.
Damn.
But I had a few people to call back, and we just went and did a different way. We went out and actually shopped them. So we went out and got each individual place that back then it was actually dispensaries because I didn't understand how it went to where dispensaries had their license out to other people, so they weren't the producers of some of the weeds. So we bought 36 strands out of the 72 that I originally had come through, and I had about 2,200 people in my first event. And then we did the 7-10 cup after that, and there was 141 entries, and we had about 4,000 people.
Damn.
And then it started just doubling and doubling after that.
So right away it was
the only one in town, but we were the first one to do it in Arizona. I did it legally. It's still the same way, but you can't charge for access because then you're selling weed.
Right.
So we didn't charge for any to come in the event. We don't charge for our judges' kids, and it worked out to be overall a real good thing because they more people are out there, the patients at that point in time, they looked at it as we were out helping the community and helping them.
Yeah.
Just like everybody, you want to earn money when you start it. So I wanted to do it where I'd be charging everybody, but my lawyer said it'd be illegal. So I did it his way, and it worked out to be
smart.
Good. Yeah, listen, lawyers.
Yeah,
man.
good on you
lawyers.
I mean, that's why you pay them, right?
Well,
for their advice.
Tom Dean's my lawyer, and he's just a good person, and he knows. He looks at it from a different point of view of what couldn't happen to you. Versus some lawyers will tell you exactly what you want to hear, and if you want to be safe, you go to the ones that don't tell you what you want to hear.
Right. Yeah. You need the hard truth, right? It's like, dude, you can fuck
back
around.
then I didn't want my ass it's too small now. They end up in jail. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't do anything that was going to be jeopardize that.
Yeah. You got to know thyself, right? You're like, I don't want to go to jail.
That was why I talked to him.
Yeah. That's funny.
Make sure I didn't have that happen.
That's funny, man. Yeah. So tell me about like some of the venues you've had to size up, right?
Yeah. We started originally at a VFW. Actually, it was American Legion in Tempe. Yeah. They helped us when I was a kid. They actually gave us free stuffed animals that VFW did and food on Thanksgiving and Christmas because my mom didn't have any money.
So you never forgot that? No,
to me it was the fact of having someone I could go back to and give back to because they don't have much going on. I mean, they don't. They might own the building, but they still have to pay rent. I mean, electricity, water, and stuff. And for those buildings and stuff because they don't have a lot of due fees that come in. A lot of them fail. So the one in Tempe, and they like because I helped them with one, giving them money to do it, but two, I allowed them to earn money at the event. And then we had it probably went for about 2 years, 3 years.
Okay.
We had Tempe involved where we had them come down, and the police said we gotta get a bigger venue. So after that, we tried to find bigger venues. It wasn't as bad in the January time period when we started, but when it got to be the summer, the 7-10 one, it just got bigger and bigger to where it was hard to find venues out there.
Yeah, those are still super fun, man. Even if it's...
That was a great time. I mean, it was packed. It was so hot because of how many people were in it. It's ridiculous.
I was going to the early ones. I want to say I went to the VFW one. I remember it was like you would walk through the building, and then there was like some outside too. So it's like they were trailing you, snaking you through the building.
That one, the VFW, we didn't have it. That was the one that was the VFW on 40th and Thomas.
Okay.
First one that we had was Tempe. It was off of I think it was Broadway and right over there by the milk place.
Okay.
Milk. That one was all outside, and then the VFW was inside, and outside because it was around the hot time.
Yeah.
We did a little inside. Now it was just, we got too big for the inside of it.
Yeah.
That was 5,000 square feet.
Yeah, I love your events, dude. I remember going there, just finding out about it, going, and then wanting to volunteer right away. Like, how do I get involved? You know.
Yeah.
So that was always really cool. Talk to me about the volunteers, because I know you like to shout those guys out.
Yeah, all the time.
They're a big part of it.
The only people that we wouldn't be able to do it without them. You know, it's just us that actually put together the event, and when you don't have people that help you, you know, and we don't have a lot of income streams. You know, we don't. You're looking at it. There's not, you know, with having a free event there. So we have over 125 now, almost 140, I think it might be total. And those guys and ladies are wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, from Angie to Yvonne now, all the way from Pineapple when she originally helped us to Brand. There's just so many in the name. But
Yeah.
they have a passion about it. I mean, it's the cool thing about our industry and our people is we've always had one thing in common. It was the weed side of it. So you had a bond based on that, and then they liked the fact is that bond was other people getting other people together to talk about it. So then it became, you know, because we have all different people. I mean, from people that got no money, people got a lot of money, but they have that one same commonality.
Yeah.
Having all those people together, it's interesting because they're all different likes, but they, with the one same commonality, they usually get along and do well for me. And I couldn't do it without them.
That's why I always enjoyed the events, because it was like-minded people, no matter where you came from.
And
you run into you run into people in line. Right, waiting for a dab or whatever it is, because your events are always like lots of free meds, lots of cute, big tents, you know, giving out stuff. So you run into people online and you have like a party while you're waiting for the party, right? Because it's like you're all in it, you know. We're all ready to smoke. It's
tough because our lines used to be, and they probably are still long to get in, but it's one of those things you don't hear anger at all. You hear a lot of people saying, "Excuse me," you know, and that's the nice part about it.
Yeah.
We're a very good community. I mean, we are strong. If we ever got our political power together and be able to unite and be able to do things that, you know, because we all share things, it'd be big, because it's not, there's, you look at the tobacco industry when they started, it was, you know, they all understood where they were going with their lobbyists and so forth. Ours are kind of in a different route. We're kind of in a, you know, you might say
they scattered us out a little bit.
They're all against each other.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's not the same type of thing where it should be, but
yeah.
Luckily, I'm outside of the business.
Yeah, I made sure to put a note there because I maybe want to pick your brain on that. Maybe like what kind of direction could we all be going, you know?
Yeah.
With the Errl Cup thing, let me ask you, has things going rec, has that changed your event at all? Or has it changed the message of your event at all? It
just got bigger, you know, and then the fact of, I mean, we love that medical side of it, but I'm a believer. The fact is it's helped me throughout all my life. Most of my brothers and sisters were on medication to support depression or things like that, and I never was, and it was because of weed. I didn't understand that was the thing until I got involved with it and understood how much the medical side was on it, because you don't realize that. I didn't realize it, at least. And then you see all these people it's helped, but a recreational people to have it, because there's so many things that you can get off of. You don't need to be on medication for all this different crap. You know, weed helps a lot of aspects of it, and that I think, and having, so I like to have that side of it. But we do separate it. We have our med people come in usually at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
So that they can have 2 hours difference than the recreational people, because we really respect the medical side of it, because that's what got us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They come in free at 10 instead of 12 o'clock is what recreational.
So there's benefits to having your card and all that.
Yeah. Much, you know,
that's really cool.
Own. Yeah.
That's cool that the Errl Cup didn't forget about the med patients.
No, we never have. They built us there. It was just, you know, like anybody would, a lot of them didn't believe that philosophy, but it's my philosophy. I believe it is. It's such a wonderful, I look at it as medication or a flower, to be able to be used for a lot of different people. They don't try it. I've had so many people come at the event and just, you know, express gratitude because they tried some things that they never were able to try again, and it changed the way that their health is. And, you know, why not do it naturally? I mean, so I think the hemp thing of going into having cannabinoids in our system like we used to, when, you know, we used to feed it in cows. You know, that was part of our process. So that would be in all of us because we'd be eating the meat.
Wow.
You know, we took that away in 1938. So now it's, you know, now we have it in there with the hemp stuff coming out. It's not hitting all of it, but it was part of a regular regimen of what kept us healthy.
Man, so, I didn't know that.
Well, it also reduces cancer.
Wow.
And the studies have shown that smoking weed and having that reduces cancer directly. Also improves eyesight. I believe that too. There's a lot of benefits to it that they haven't been able to study it because of the fact that the government won't support funding of it. And most places that do those type of research projects have government funding for it.
Yeah.
Even now, getting rescheduled, from what I understand from the people I talk to, you can't get money to get scheduled
They're still
to test it. It's I don't know. I mean, it's like, because from what who handles it's the one that's the one that handles the drug enforcement. So it's the FDA my guy said they're not giving it to anybody. I have to come on, because they're like not going to budge. Stuff. No, I hate getting them complaining about the fact of I get it. If we drive and we're drinking, our chances of an accident dramatically increase. I think it's by 8 to 10%. You're smoking and getting high. But if you're just smoking, there's been no study of increase at all. Actually, I think there should be a decrease in the fact that because you're high and trying to make it there. So there's no been accidents attributed to it. So you want to kind of, because that's one of the downfalls that people try to do. I mean, it's that you guys are going out and driving high. Yeah, I'm the safest guy on the road.
Right.
I'm trying to get a Slurpee down the road.
Yeah, it makes me extra cautious. Yeah,
yeah, right. I'm just not having a problem here.
Yeah, that's something I really like about you too, is that when there is an issue like that, you still kind of try to attack it. I remember you started a thing where it was like a car service.
Yeah, it's called IYMD. It's If You Medicate Designate. So at our van, if anybody needs a ride home, we give it to them free.
Yeah.
If they need to come back, we give it that way. I mean, it's I don't want that issue. I don't think
so. You're getting way ahead of it. It's like, I know you guys are going to throw that at us.
I just don't want anybody to get pulled over. One, we don't have alcohol in it because I don't like the two together. But it's just I don't like the aspect of having. So and a lot of people appreciate it. They do. Find it. They don't. A lot of people don't know about it either. But I wanted to do it with dispensaries where we could get like change and so forth to support the fact that because to do it for everybody. But I didn't have the cash to do it for everybody. So we just do it as us.
Yeah, but you're out there, man. You're out there with the ideas. I really like that you put your ideas to work too.
We try.
I'll say a couple more things about your events. Yes. I love the Errl Camp. I had a good time. That was a great idea. It kind of amplified and turned up the knob on that togetherness thing. I was out there meeting people and sharing weed, sharing supplies. Hey, I forgot to bring batteries for my. It was like a community aspect.
Yeah. We're not the Bernie man. Crazy, but we are the same type of community. I mean, any of these people would do anything for anybody.
Yeah, it was super cool, and it's like you find out once you're out there, the like-minded thing. Like I said, it just kind of turns a knob up on it because we're out in the wilderness, we're doing shit.
It's amazing.
You had some fun activities, and you even had like the little golf carts going around.
Yeah, well, we usually have them set up for our VIPs that come in to where they park in the different areas. So the place is 72 acres, so it's really a long distance. I think it's almost a half a mile, almost to a mile from the arena where we have it at, all the way down to the river, which is the Verde River. She rolls up the property. So having that's nice, and then just having that facility. She was the first person that I called, Amy. She was the first person that I actually called that said yes over the phone. Most of these people I called for the venues would be like, "Oh, I gotta have you talk to this guy. I gotta have you see this guy." She's all, "Okay." I'm like, "Excuse me?" Yeah, so
that's refreshing, right?
She's a wonderful person that looks at us as not, again, a bad thing with the medicine, because we weren't legal. It wasn't recreational. It was medical. She looked at it as these are people that are going to come and do an event, and after, she even said it before meeting me, but she just looked at what we did was good. But most of them in the beginning were very cautious, and they're very selective now. I mean, I haven't had the ability to go out and have to find a venue. Now I do, because Scarizona, he sold that when the Coyotes came in.
Oh.
So when they came in, he's been leasing it back. So I think this is his last year on his lease back.
Okay, so that one's done.
I loved it, but it's just one
that
of
was a cool
things.
spot.
Yeah, he kind of had to do it. I mean, it was one of those things. They probably came in with a good amount of money and this and
business.
It's a great location.
Yeah.
I mean, especially. I mean, I wish they would have put the stadium there, but you know how that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that'd be our last year. Will be this October. Will be the last time.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Alan. Alan's a good people too.
Good. Shout out to that guy.
Yes.
What's the what are the events coming up that people can get excited for?
Camp coming up on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Okay.
And I have Errl Cup that's going to be on October 5th and October 6th.
Okay.
So camps in Camp Verde, and then the Cup. We also have a free event there on Saturday, so they can come Saturday day from 10 to 4, and basically from that period they can go and come to kind of the Errl Cup, but in a smaller area and camp. Okay. And then we have some vendors up there that be handing out stuff and talking. It's like you said, it's more of a camp's like it's more of like you're more in depth with the people because you see them all the time. I stay in the same bunkhouse as all my volunteers do,
Oh, yeah.
So when I roll out and a bed and making the breakfast and stuff, my hands up.
Yeah.
But to them,
They get to see the other side of you.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I appreciate them so much that I don't want to be I don't want to be sharing the same experience that they're sharing.
Yeah.
Because there's other homes there, but it's and it's also I enjoy cooking them breakfast and stuff, and they do much for me, so I can give them back that.
That's a good time.
Yeah, it is fun. We always have a good time there.
Yeah, I will say that too. You're one of those guys that's like super like attainable. Like you're out with the people, and I've got videos in my phone of me ripping bong rips with you and stuff at the events. It's like super cool. You're gonna run into you for sure.
I say lucky, but with the people that helped me, Blake and everybody else that came, or Jay, they just allowed me to do the things that we're able to do, and I'm thankful of it.
Hell yeah.
I'm an older guy now. I'm not the young buck I used to be, but so I look at it a different point of view because, you look at, this is something that's come along, and that's why I try to help people out with it. People come to me that are volunteers with me. I try to get them into business or whatever they want to do because, sorry, it's my dogs.
No worries.
They're growling at each other. But you get
everyone that watches the show loves dogs.
Yeah. Well, it's just, dude, this is fight. Hey, go lie down.
Not by the camera.
And they get crazy.
No, they want the attention. We know how dogs work. Yeah. Come on, come here. Get over here. Get over here.
But that's a good thing too. In camp, we allow all dogs there. Cup.
That's true.
We do service dogs. We try. I didn't try to do a lot of Cup, and I'm a dog friendly person. I just didn't want to get shit from PETA. That was my big deal. I didn't want to have the big, because I know a lot of people that have brought their dogs and stuff, and I felt that coming down. So we allowed the service dogs to come there, or I would have them there. But Cup, we allow them. At camp, we allow them to be out there. Then it's a very nice.
You're just thinking of everything ahead of time, and
it's just being cautious, man. In the beginning, it was more or less because of I just wanted the event to go through and not have problems and not be issues with certain things because I looked at it as a benefit. Hey,
chewing the cord.
Yeah, I looked.
You know what's going on
for us. So I didn't want to have that benefit have any type of effect on anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, especially once you got all this stuff going and rolling, you're like, I don't want to start fucking with things and start getting taken down. And
those organizations are, they're very.
We love them, right?
I love them.
Yeah, we love them.
And I love their causes. So
yeah,
there's nothing that I would do. But and I don't ever try to get dogs high, so that's a good thing too.
Yeah, that's true. I've talked about on the show. It's like, it's not really cool to get dogs high. Most of them don't really like it. I mean, some dogs you hear.
Otis does. I mean,
you hear that they'll like
somewhere in the house. He's got to have whack somewhere there, and it's whatever. It's usually like, well, if we leave him or something there, and then that's it. He looks like he must hate it because he sits his ass back on the thing, his hands up, looking at the door, and just like going all night long, and then you're like, what the hell? And
so funny.
He obviously knows what it does to him, so he goes. And does it again.
He keeps going back to the well.
That's what I mean.
He knows what he's doing.
I can't find it. I clean the house the best I can. It must be in the sofa. I don't know.
I love that guy.
Yeah, this is pretty good about
that. You know what I wanted to talk to you about next?
Yeah.
Something that was really fun for me, and it was like a fun time in my life. It's like when I found out about like who runs the Errl and all you guys, your whole crew, the DL Lodge.
Yes.
That's like near and dear to my heart. I had a lot of fun there. And it was like something I was looking for. Like, I'm not a big drinker, but I'm a big smoker. And I'd love to have a bar, but I don't really do the bar thing. And then I find the DL Lodge.
Yeah, that was...
Tell me about the DL Lodge and how that came about.
It was probably our second year, or maybe the end of our first one.
You have one?
And it went to where it became... I found the place that was horrible. I mean, the place is really run down here. It's off of 13th Street in Indian School. And we... put it back, and I had people tell me. I mean, I told my vision. They go, "Oh God, I don't see it, Jim." I see it. I said, "I see it. It's gonna work."
What did the lawyers say to that one?
Tom was in favor of it because I did it. He had given me that idea many times over because he believed what we were doing was we were actually giving, just the same way I do everything is that we didn't charge anything on the Wednesdays and Thursdays when we had free meditation days. They would come, and Fridays and Saturdays it was $5 to come in and utilize the facilities and so forth. We didn't have a lot of people come on Fridays and Saturdays. That was one of the deals. It just became, they'd rather go out to the legal ones and do that, which I got. But we had a lot of people come on those other 2 days, which helped out the vendors. I mean, it was nothing in the beginning, but same as you, I was in the bartending business for a long time and got to the point where I didn't, I hated it. But when we started this, it became a same concept. You just wanted to give them the things that they wanted to do. and it was just hang out with everybody. And once we did it, we made sure that it was safe, because we'd have people make sure they got back to their cars safely, because we weren't in, I didn't think, the best area. We would just have sodas and stuff for people to drink, and that's the way we made our money, especially on the Wednesdays and Thursdays. But we were nice to have brands come down and give away the medication. It was really a good thing, because a lot of people got to try the medication, so and the brands liked it on that aspect of it. They got upset at me when when we went with the concentrates became illegal. Not upset, but they always brought concentrates because to them it didn't cost them anything. Versus when I had told them I couldn't have you do concentrates because it's illegal, though, even though you're selling them in the dispensary, but the law says it's illegal.
Playing it safe,
somebody could pull you over and now you're arrested.
Yeah.
So my attorney had once called me of that, and he told me that you're going to have to do this. I said, what do you mean? He said, you can't do your event and have concentrates anymore, because if you do, then you're saying that that's legal, and that's going to get more people in trouble. I'm like, fuck, Tom. I'm not in this like that. He goes, I don't give a shit if you're in it like that, but now you are. So
you're big enough where they're going to blame you for shit.
Or not saying that. It's more of a, if you don't do it that way, more people are going to get busted.
Oh.
Because if you show them that it's okay, because of how much we did on the event side of it, if we had that many come in and that much influence over it, and they were selling dispensaries, and then they're sitting there and we're allowed to do it, it would be just, he believed it would be a lot worse. So I was all right. I have no problem. That was the first time that it wasn't an event to me anymore. It became more of I'd say obligation type of stuff, but he made it more pressing that I had to do things. That's when the testing stuff came up with the going out and fighting for the testing law with the labs, because they would have never won with that. I'm not trying to be vanny on it, but they wouldn't have won with that. You had a lot of guys coming in saying, we want to get testing because we're going to charge you guys more money and make a lot of money, versus me coming in and saying, here are these testing results. Because the labs didn't have any results. All the results that they had were somebody else's. They couldn't keep those results and show them to anybody. I bought all mine. For the last 3 years, the 4 years at that point in time, I had everything. I had all the statistics on everything, and we showed them, this is what's going on. And I told them, it's not to say it's going to hurt my business, but it needs to be done. This is not right. Right. Prior to me even talking, me and Jay were in there was a lady that came up that had a kid that was on marijuana very young, and it's the only way she was able to live because of I don't remember the disease, but something that she had.
Something really bad, yeah.
And bada bing, bada bang, it saved her. And I went up there and said, how could you not pass this? I mean, if it was for medication that you all take back there, you'd be passing a safety check on it, and this you can't. So once we followed that through, it tumbled into, and I enjoy it, I'll tell you, it's a benefit trying to help people with the community side of it, because I don't like, I look at things differently. So we went up recently about the weed making and micro business licenses.
Okay.
And that was me just writing that in and getting someone to put that in the law, because in my beliefs, everybody should be into this business. I mean, we would save so much in the way of the amount of weed that's trafficked over from Arizona, from Mexico, because if you allowed it to be legal and you gave people the right to do it, and they wouldn't risk selling anything else if they made money on something like that, because they're already doing it.
Right.
So allow them to make money on it, and they wouldn't be touching anything else. That would decrease the amount of drugs they're brought over there because of that fact. And lawmakers and stuff, they don't look at it that way. And it's stupid, but you try to project it, and it's just a philosophy side, but it's business, it's capitalism. The more people you have involved in it, the more they're not going to risk doing anything with it. Yeah. I wouldn't if I was doing it. I wouldn't want to be in that business, because I think it's you guys, that type of business is not horrible. It's just it's ever changing. It's not something that I would like to touch, but I believe everybody should have the right to. It's like, when the gold first got discovered. Yeah. I mean, you would have got a pick and shovel and went out there and started picking and shoveling right away. Yeah. So it didn't get passed, which is also probably a good thing. I mean, it's nothing I can do about it. But we tried to.
So you're out there fighting for stuff.
We just tried to push something along. I know a lot of people would want that, and it wasn't bad type of stuff. It just gave people a legal way to go through and do it, and it was on a very small level. I think they could only. The proposal, I think, was only to have 50 plants or something like that. They're all micro-based, where you had to pick one of them. It was concentrates, it was edibles, it was flour, and you could only get it from each other. So it wasn't something that you could buy directly in the dispensaries, because that way they're kind of producing their own stuff and keeping their business together itself.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's kind of like a deli more aspect of it. It's done in 4 or 5 other states now. I know New Mexico is doing it. Michigan has licenses. New York's supposed to do it. They haven't got their act together yet. But
and what's it called one more time?
Micro business licenses.
Okay.
Some micro cannabis business licenses. It's basically not a dispensary, but it's a in California they kind of did different. They had levels of different growing things you could be. This is just the how they put it, the mom and pop kind of shop.
Okay.
To where you would actually have a location where you're doing it and selling from that location, where you could sell direct to the consumer.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it wasn't made to be your buddy you can go sell weed off. It was made to have a legal way that they could. I mean, right now we do statistics if I'm correct, but I think we are at 1.6 billion in sales. But there's $7 billion in weed sold in Arizona every year. So we're only producing from the legal side is 1.6 billion of that.
Yeah.
So if we could actually capture another large portion of that,
yeah.
One, taxation's higher, but it's, again, I wouldn't jeopardize that. And so many, because we get so many of those bad things that come through, the fentanyl, the meth, and all the coke
horrible
and all
shit.
This.
Yeah.
Get these people to where they wouldn't jeopardize their stuff, and I think it would help. But when I was up there and we put it out to them, I don't think the lawmakers look at it that way. They were kind of more focused on their internal things, not based on us. And that's because we don't have a mass. There was a lot of people there, I'll give you that much. They told them to come, and we filled up a room and a half. So
wow.
Other people in another room for that one.
Did that make you feel good? Because sometimes it's not that way, right?
No, at all. In the beginning, it wasn't at all. But now I see it happening. But that's nothing compared to the ones that were really out there push that stuff. You imagine the people that are, that have, like, you've seen the abortion side, both levels on that. Mass people that come out, but not to say we need to be organized, but if we were a group that organized together, we could do a lot, because we all have the same commonality.
And there is a lot of us.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a ton of us. It's just we kind of don't.
Huge. Yeah. The statistic's huge. I mean, everybody wants to be in this market because of it. Just recently, we had one up. We're the number 5 in most consumed weed per city. Damn. New York number 1, LA was number 2, Chicago number 3, Houston, not legal there, number 4.
Wow.
And then us. I think we can do better than that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
All right. I don't like number 5.
Houston?
Okay? We should be at number 4.
Oh, you don't like
we
being number 5?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
We're not on the podium.
Yeah.
Hell.
Yeah.
We should be smoking more. We're
come on, guys.
Come on. Yeah,
step it up.
What the hell are you talking about? So more people know, more people we even get smoked. Maybe next year we might be up in the top 4.
Oh yeah. That's a good goal. I like that.
Well, Houston doesn't even have legalization.
Yeah, how are they beating us out?
Just I think
it's a bunch of criminals in Houston.
I have no idea. I love Houston. I've never been there.
I've never been there. I heard it's a lot of freeway.
Yeah.
It's all freeway, I heard.
It's the whole place is huge, so you got to have freeway to get around.
Yeah.
But I would think that we'd have to be able to beat them somehow. They don't even have medical, I don't believe.
Yeah, right? Texas is broke.
Texas doesn't like the stuff.
Before we leave that subject, what's a topic, if you smoke weed and you love weed like we all do, what's something we should all care about or maybe pay attention to that's coming up, maybe something we have to vote on? Or
I don't know the laws. Unfortunately, the things that come up, and because now we have to look at the fact that it's the new session comes in play after we do our voting, then they'll come in. It starts in January and ends very quickly. I think it's less than 2 months, 3 months that they go through their little process of stuff. But go out and learn the side. That's one of them. People have some shout outs on it if you can find it. It's I would just look at it as we went from illegal to essential.
Yeah.
And in my lifetime, I didn't think that would happen.
Yeah, that was nuts.
It's a fast one. And where it came to the fact is that you better have that weed in those stores for these patients around the state. Which imagine someone hearing that.
It was one of the first, or one of the few things that was still open during COVID and all that.
It was pharmaceutical.
Yeah,
it was just like that. You needed to have it. And then it went rec at the same time, and they kept it open based on the fact that they knowing that it's a helpful thing.
Yeah.
So to being able to be in that type of conversation now to me is amazing. And to be where I'm at is amazing. So I'm blessed that I have the ability to do it.
Well, thanks for doing all that, man. Thanks for being out there.
Thanks for everybody
pushing the envelope. Yeah.
Pushing no envelope. I'm just trying to help everybody that I can do.
DL Lodge, is it ever coming back then?
No.
It's done.
It is not something. It's a business that we didn't really make any money, and it was like having an event every day. People were
that's why I liked it. It was a mini event all the time.
It was just one of those things that say you have a lot of complaints and stuff. You just you gave them free weed, you gave them a free place to hang out, and they wanted free water. It was a bar every day, but with people that get high instead of drunk.
Yeah.
There's a good and a bad thing about that. So I loved it. I met a lot of good people there. Made a lot of good stuff. There's other people that are doing it. I like that I was the first one to do it. So that's always good. And I think the fact that the DL Lodge of the name, just the Devil's Lettuce Lodge.
Devil's Lettuce Lodge is sick, dude. I still got my membership card somewhere. I was like number. I was like low on number 8 or something.
Well, it was a neat location too because you couldn't really see it was there.
I was gonna say in my notes I had that it was kind of like a speakeasy.
Yeah, if you could call it that, inside of it, because it looked like it was hooked up to either that lock shop that was behind us or in front of us was the Mo shop.
Yeah.
So we had cops walk by the door and they know it was that.
Yeah.
And we had the gate closed in the back and the cops were yelling over there, "Stop smoking weed." And we knew our laws. We weren't doing anything wrong.
Private domicile.
Then after I left, somebody came in and started growing weed there, and they busted that place down, broke through the front of it and everything.
No way.
That was before I got there. It was called the something with a cat, Inner Cat Cafe. It was internet gambling that was there.
Whoa.
So they had a double door on the front door, so those cops couldn't bust down the door on it because it was one of those big steel doors, and they had their things screwed up too. So it took them a while to get in there because that's where their safe was right in that front door entry where we'd have everybody check in. That's where they would do all their money. And then after that was where they had all their machines in those 2 other rooms. Yeah, they must have made something. It was called something cafe, cat cafe, internet cafe. Cat, I don't know.
That building's got some memories in the walls.
Yeah, we had a lot of bad memories too. It was a whole building. Yeah,
that's funny.
God help, we made it through that place. It got bad. There was water that came through one of our last deals there. We were rain coming down, and our neighbor from the lock place pointed his drain down into our place, and we had water that went up to the sofas, were like floating. People are still hanging out though.
Steve was still there.
Yeah, people were like, "Yeah, okay, we're gonna stay." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Come on."
Tell you, that's a good hang, man.
Hey, we had a good time. We loved it.
Good fucking hang.
I'm glad that we made it here.
So while I was doing my homework on you, man, I realized I wanted to know more about your background and what gave you this work ethic. You know, one of the themes on the show, I say it like almost every episode. I'm sure the viewers are, sick of me saying it, but all the guests I bring on seem to have a real intentional game to them. Like you've got like a clear goal and you're going to be determined until it's done. And it seems like that's kind of how the way you did the Errl Cup and probably you do most of the things you do. So can you tell me about like what kind of jobs you've had or what
you find anything up on me?
I didn't want to spoil it, so I just,
kind of hard to find me.
Yes and no, because the name, but like I said, I did my homework. I know it was like maybe like a newspaper. You were in the newspaper biz, or your father was.
My dad.
I did my homework, but I want you to tell this story.
My old man was a writer.
Okay.
He wrote about. He has about 50 books, 150 reports. The biggest one was called "Why SOBs Succeed and Nice Guys Fail in Business." It was all through mail order. So when I grew up, he didn't really ask me how my day was when I got home from work because I didn't really work for anybody. I worked for him up till a certain point in time, and then he was like 16. I started working for Computerland. I'd come home and he'd go, "So, how's your day?" It's just a day. He goes, "It's just horrible and stuff. You should quit." What do you mean, Dad? What am I gonna do if I quit? You should quit. Open your own Computerland. He said, "I haven't got no fucking money. I might just open my own Computerland." I quit, but he didn't believe in working. He was an entrepreneur and he believed in succeeding, or he believed in creating his own system or being enslaved by somebody else's system. Is the way he would put it. And so that philosophy all the time and him working all the time showed me that I had a different outlook than other people did, because when I would talk to people and I talk to them about their stuff, I look at it and it's like, how can you get and work on your own? Because if you could do that and you're doing what you love, then you're better. So I got the lucky chance I am at now, but it would come from my father, and he was, that way it was something that you had to do. I mean, it wasn't, you could do the best you could at your job, but you were still at a job. I can make all this money, but you're still at a job, Jim. You're letting somebody else tell you what to do. You're making somebody else money with what you're doing. Yeah. If I had the money or not to start that same thing, he'd still want to push those principles. The fact is that you need to create it for not being able to work for somebody and then start making your own money. So it worked out good and bad for him. I mean, he was the book he wrote sold 1 million copies, 1.5 billion copies, all through direct mail. But he wrote books like Why SOBs Succeed, but he wrote another one called Divorce Dirty Tricks. And that one actually got him in his most trouble. He was on the run for the feds for 10 years for not paying child support and alimony.
What was the book again? What was it called?
Divorce Dirty Tricks.
Okay.
He was actually featured in an article in the People magazine where Princess Diane and Charles were on the front cover.
Oh, shit.
And it was basically about relationships, and one of them was him. And he's sitting there hands out in front of his 2 Jaguars and his other cars here at 40th Street in Ranchos, where we used to live at, a very nice house. And then he had his ex-wife, Sean, which is a lovely lady. I love her to death. She was, empty house sitting there. And it was kind of a hatchet job when they went after him. And it was based on the fact that this guy does all these bad things to women because this is a book he wrote on it. So when that happened, when he got, because he was married 6 times, so he got to his 5th wife.
Damn.
She was a very vindictive woman, and went out and had the Department of Health Services hunt him down. And they found him about 10 years later, and at that point in time, he was the first man ever convicted of not paying child support and alimony at a federal level.
No
he
way.
Spent 18 months in a federal penitentiary for that when he was the age of 65.
Damn.
And he was with Chong as their, they called them the Cadillacs, so that he would pick up cigarettes throughout the deal because he was an older guy. So that was him and Cheech and Chong's guy. That guy was there because he was selling weed through the mail.
Right, yeah.
So Bakersfield was where my old man got caught at. So he was the one in that area. And it was horrible for him. I mean, he had insulin all the time. So he had diabetes.
Oh shit! While he was in there,
and they had him shackled up, and he lost balance. And they let him fall on the ground, smash his whole face and stuff. It was a very interesting experience to understand the prison system and how they profit off of people. And that was a really crazy system to see. But because when he got locked up, they had him in maximum security throughout the whole thing. And then when they never had a filing under the category of him not paying child support and alimony, so they put him under a child neglect and child abuse.
Jeez.
And he was going to get killed in jail. Exactly. I called up the people and said, Jesus Christ, you guys need to change this because it's going to, they finally did, but that was one of the things because he had never had that thing.
They're not going to let him explain himself in there. They're just going to start fucking him up.
And they just wanted the guy who wrote the book on him. So, he would, the funny part about it is he would always write his book. He would only write it once he went out and sold it. So he would make a marketing piece and go out and mail it to people, mailer-wise, and see if he got his right response rate back, which is usually about over 2%. Through the, when you used to do bulk mail, you could get around 1.5% because that's how much you need to have back to start making some money because it's cheaper bulk mail versus first class. So every book he would go out and write, he'd do that before. The only book he didn't was that one, Divorce Dirty Tricks. I moved more of those goddamn books because before he never wrote them, but that one he wrote and put it out because he said, I got a market here because I'm going to go get everybody that goes files for divorce in court. Once they filed for it, it was already over. They didn't want the fucking book because they were done with it. Yeah. So his little plan backfired. And
that's
so
right.
I would never
you gotta catch him before.
I would never move books for my old man except those because he wrote it and he printed it and it didn't sell the way he did, but it got him in his most trouble. Because his philosophy was that you figure out what they want and you test it and you test it and you test it. And then you think you know what they want, you keep testing it again because you can't tell. So
did he break his own rule on that book?
No,
because he wrote it first.
Yes, he did.
And then it fucking bit him in the ass.
In the mailer business, you had 60 days to, if you cashed your check or you took their check, you had 60 days to give them the product. So he would then, once he got the orders in, see it was all right. Because once he didn't, if it wasn't right, he'd give the checks back. But once he saw it right, he would write that book. He didn't write it himself. He would do what people are doing now, but back then it was different. It was getting ghostwriters. Yeah. He'd go to colleges and get them to write chapters. Each one of these different kids out there to write chapters, and he'd index it out.
This guy's
and
a genius.
Take it all and put it on. He was really good. He's
a smart motherfucker.
He was very smart. Yeah, he was. But
he would have been a beast.
He signed his SOB book. He's from the fucker to the fucky. So in life, I believe in a lot of karma. I'm not. I look at things as you don't come around, goes around type of stuff. And I try to treat people with respect and kindness.
I see that. Yeah.
You don't write that in there and not think something's going to come back to you. And I think that's what came back to him was part of that because he didn't have any money when he died. And when we were growing up, I mean, we lived on an 82-foot Chinese junk called the Intrepid Dragon that was on movies that I've seen. We had anything we wanted. I mean, we were looking to buy an island. He had a lot of money. Damn. And it was all through the mail order. And then that greed of having the money and doing that and not doing the right in some ways led, in my opinion, to the final stack that he didn't want, which was not having any money and not having anybody around him.
Wow.
That's a crazy thing.
Yeah. Is that something you believed in before that example, or is that something that solidified it?
Yeah, because I didn't like the way he treated people. I didn't like him. He would always bullshit people. When we were sitting in the, because we have beautiful houses. I lived in 6,000 square foot houses in Hawaii, overlooking on the top of, it was in Kalal, living on the top of there by Hawaii Kai, sitting and looking down and beautiful place, all windows all around. We're eating dinner with these people and he's telling them how much money we make and all this other stuff. I fucking go down there because going out with my lady. I said, Dad, we got like $20. I'm going out with my lady. We don't got no fucking money. What are you talking about? Yeah, what are you talking about? So he was a bullshitter. He these homes we rented. It was the appearance to show that you needed that because nobody was going to give you money if you didn't look like you had money. So a lot of the things that he did wasn't. I don't like deceiving people. I'm an honest person. It's probably to my own fault, but it goes to the fact is you look at it. I look at it differently because I don't want the rain down that he got on his own deal. You know, you don't want to have the bad things come your way if you believe that. So that would be more directed toward Jeff. It was more of a philosophy because of what he did, but when you sit back and see as a kid and you see him bullshitting people all the time, it didn't make me feel good inside. So I didn't.
So you just knew,
I could be anything I wanted. He had all the money in the world. So when I could go out and lie at school and get anything I wanted to show him that I had that because we had the money to do it, but it wasn't. I knew I could do it. And I'm a very good bullshitter too because I've sold all my life. And at the end of it, and I was young when I figured it out. I don't want that because you're totally different. You change in the way that you do things. So you don't have any, not to say conscience or soul, because that's a weird thing. You do not feel the fact good about anything you do.
Right.
I have no problem looking myself in the mirror because I know I haven't done wrong to the side of it.
Yeah.
Where when I was growing with him, it was like, I'd say he couldn't look himself in the mirror, but I didn't want to
look over your shoulder feeling. You don't want that.
I didn't want to be part of bullshitting people to get what I need.
Yeah.
It was let's do what we have and that's why I say default. I tell people the truth on it, and that's nothing I can do about it. That's me. I got my mom's side. My mom, my dad, everybody gets side of it. My mom was someone when he left my mom, the divorce, my mom had $1.7 million in assets and a house there, a ranch. And within 2 years, we were getting food from the VFW and American Legion. And I went back to get to know her after I stayed with my father, but I always wanted to know what those reasons were. And I figured out because she was just like me. She would do anything for anybody. So the guys came around and used her for money. You take the stuff, and it was like, I never felt bad about that if you figure it out because you're like, fuck, you're me doing the same thing. I would have done the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
But that was in 1978. 1.7 million, 78.
Shit. It's a lot of stuff.
But it was
Probably
like left her
stuff.
cash and coins and stuff and ranch property. It was just the place she was at, and she was a caring person. She just believed in a lot of people. Yeah. And from that, you got what you got. So.
It's cool that you hit on that too, because that's like another theme on the show that we talk about. It's like once you hit a certain age or maturity, you kind of forgive your parents for some of the stuff they went through.
You become them.
Yeah, and you give them.
You have to take care of them.
Yeah, and you give them that break though. You're like, oh, you were just a person. When you're growing up, you think you're my parents. You're supposed to know this and that. Yeah. But then you realize like, oh, you were just some lady or some guy, and you're fucking, like you said, you're just some bullshitter, and it's like. You kind of see it for what more
though, because only thing you can do is go through it and see it for yourself. Because for him, anytime I'd come ask him about the divorce, it would be like, let me show you some divorce papers that I got for you in here. We'll pull it out and we'll show you what happened. And with my mom, it was all, your father, he's a crazy guy, and would tell me a story. Where my dad would be like backing the shit up. So when I figured that out, I was like,
okay.
Yeah. And it was like, what are you doing here?
The
other one was when I went and told him I'm going to go stay with my mom and get to know her. I was like 22 or something. And you're like, why didn't you should be staying here and get to know me? It's, well, fuck, you had me for the last fucking how many years, and you didn't want to get to know me then. So, let's go the other way.
Yeah, you had your time.
Selfish side where my mother wasn't that way.
Wow.
So that you got the two sides of it.
Yeah.
So everybody, you find out you're good and you're bad, you're yin and you're yang, you might say.
Yeah. They made a pretty cool kid though.
I appreciate that.
Man.
I have I got 8 brothers and sisters. And I got 26 nieces and nephews.
Okay, so it's a bunch of you guys.
We got a big family.
That's cool too.
When we're all different. So I'm the only one who smokes weed now, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a few of my nephews.
You took it pretty far though.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're kind of like a living weed legend, I would
Sometimes,
say. Yeah. Definitely around town. When I say it's like, oh, there's Jim, and I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to that guy.
I have no idea.
But how do you deal with some of that? Like, how do you deal with some of, you're the guy that,
I didn't know it and understand it until we were at an event at the event center there in downtown Phoenix, and I had someone screaming my name across the deal, and it was a weird feeling. So I'm not very much as I don't brag about this stuff. I'm not very vain to this type of thing. I appreciate it. I'm kind of, I don't need to be known type of stuff. It was a weird feeling. But I try to accommodate people with taking pictures and stuff because let's say they know that I don't do it. It's not that fact is I'm at an event, I'm usually working to try to get my shit done, so.
You're super involved.
But I have no problem with doing that type of thing. But it's interesting. It's something I don't know if I would wish on anybody. I haven't gotten it bad, but God help the people that really have it, because it's just it's weird, people knowing you from and not knowing and shouting your fucking name out. It's a weird feeling. Not to say I feel like I'm being snocked or something. It's just
you're a super humble guy.
Quiet. I'm a personable person, so it's usually just I'm talking about it, but and they're just excited about doing it. They always different. It's
No, yeah, you've always been super nice to me and super cool. And like you said, if I've ever had any ideas, like a lot of people have supported the show before it even started. You're one of those guys,
I believe everybody. I think this is a great deal. Anything you can get out and stuff, and anybody types that anybody has the ability to do it, and you might as well be doing it and doing something you enjoy. And it seems like you enjoy it.
Yeah,
so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I've been having fun, and I've been, like I said, calling in favors, calling in buddies. You've been really cool and nice, and you're just.
I saw my buddy CJ that you met before that. He does our video stuff and stuff like that, and he was looking through your stuff. He goes, the wide range of things he's got here, Jim.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's why I need to get Jim on the show, because
I think you got a good thing going.
Thank you.
Having all the different stuff that you can talk about, because you're hitting a lot of different genres and a lot of different points.
Yeah,
and make it, like you said, anything I don't want to talk about it. No, but in that, giving those people the option to talk about it, not the option, but it's nice that you're encompassing things that other people don't talk about.
Yeah, yeah. I've been asking people, what I want to make everyone comfortable on the show.
I'd be horrible at it, man.
Some of the guests stayed like anonymous. They just there's no name to them or whatever, so that way they can really tell the truth about situations. So those episodes are pretty popular.
Where they want that.
Yeah,
they're really about.
It's a popular episode, the one I'm talking about. So
yeah. I mean, it ain't, because it just like talking with the growers and stuff. There's a lot of good growers out there, but those guys don't like to get to know who the hell they are, type of deal. They don't want anybody knowing that, but they got such good information, type of things. And it's just it's a weird business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We went from the illegal side to the legal side, but the things didn't change like normal businesses should change. Like the having the supply line work together and knowing one another, would be an interesting thing. It's like in our industry now, in my opinion, it's like the corner store over there is the one dictating the Budweiser sales, versus where Budweiser usually dictates the corner store sales because they're a supplier of the product.
That's a great point.
It is. It's not. It
is a little backwards.
Normal business, and this is not little backwards. This is back-ass backwards. What happens now, because the product is being controlled by the people that are selling it, and it should be controlled by the people that produce it. So most industries that happen that way. The reason it's happening that way is they're not letting them. They're leaving the things that happen in our industry and keeping them that way. Which you guys, they never talk to one another because nobody wanted to know their secrets and other people and stuff like that. They brought into this. I talked to everyone in here. Every one of these people out here, they're all the same. I keep telling them that, but none of them talk to each other. Which, if you did, you could control a lot of things in this industry. You could control the price that your Budweiser might be.
Right.
Like this corner store happens to have to deal with, because he buys his stuff from Budweiser.
Right.
So if the price is the same for everything that's Budweiser, then you're not going to have the problems that say we're having now. But it seems like it's just dictated by the people that control. And I love them to death, but that's
you're just being honest.
The law was set up to the fact that everything's controlled by the licenses, and so we're
not talking about feelings here. We're talking about the truth. That's kind of how it's running.
It's just why we're that way.
Yeah.
I mean, Arizona's a beautiful market. It's it's just
Do you see any similarities to any other industries? Like you're saying, alcohol and tobacco. What other industries have you been into that maybe we could pull from?
.com industry. I've been in all industries that have been in the surge of popularity. I was in the computer industry when it first hit.
Okay.
So when I was senior and junior on the outside, I was working with Computer Lands. We were selling the first 386 compacts and all the stuff that was out there. And then I moved into the .com industry after that.
Okay.
So, and that industry was 2 to 1. So every 2 years was about a year in that industry, because it felt like it was going so fast. The industry is a lot different. This is a 4 to 1 ratio. This is for every year that you spend in this industry, you've actually worked 4 years in a normal job, because it moves so fast. So you can calculate where your real longevity is in it, because we deal with a lot different things in most industries. We deal with the illegal portion of it through the federal aspect of it,
like the compliance,
banking, the banking sides of it, the compliance ends of it, the product sides of it with the expirational things and the other bullshit that goes down, all the things that it comes with. And most industries don't have that, because once they get to that level, it's federally that way. So you only deal with things that are based on one state. Now we have a state thing. one of the things I suggested a while back and they never did is because they could never find out what the money was the dispensaries were pulling in and stuff like that. And because the Department of Revenue wouldn't talk to the Department of Health wouldn't tell the Department of Revenue what kind of money they were making.
Okay.
So what I suggest them do, because banking's a problem here, is you get a state credit union, own it on your own, and make them bank there. So you can handle the money. It doesn't control it. Feds can't touch it, because that's the problem, is that once it goes to a regular bank, you're in a federal system. You're in a federal system, that's when the FDIC can come after and grab you. With a bank that's state run, you don't have the FDIC to come grab you. So that allows you to then know what the dispensaries are doing, because you're the one controlling their banks, and it gives them the ability to bank someplace. That was a big problem. But again, they look at things differently. But
that made too much sense, right?
It was. Yeah. It's just stupidity. It's like, I thought the light would go on these people, but it wasn't. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I actually asked my guy that does it, I said, do they not understand this? I mean, because everything I gave them, they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And it fixes a problem. It doesn't make any sense to me. It takes money to do that, Jim. Are you kidding me? I told him, you guys have the ability to have a bank that's already bankrupt, I imagine, the ability that you could take it over, and it's going to be a lot more money you're going to earn off of this than having you do it. And what money are you talking about? There was an argument now. But that's just...
And the need is there. It's like you need a place to put money.
And it was a solution.
Right.
Is they don't handle those. And it's just, because of that, you have so many different variances in this industry that you get 4 years in it. Easy for every year. It changes so fast.
That's a great way to think of it, too. I've never thought of something like that.
If you look at it, it's that way.
It's like dog years, you know?
And they look at, too, or they feel it. They've been beat up because you're just throwing so many different variables. Most industries, you're throwing these variables.
Yeah. Most industries, you're working hard.
And you're working together.
Right? But we're like learning as we go. We're
getting things thrown at us at the same time.
Yeah.
So we're learning as we go, and they're shaking boards.
And they're changing it.
Oh, my God. It's God bless them. Everybody does well in what they do. It's just... It's a different.
It's where we're at. It's just where we're at. Yeah.
Well, you have your normal industries come in. It's very easy to work, and then we have ones that change, like the .coms. They had some change. This is different. This is like, because you're not on the federal aspect of it. The state has problems with it. You can't do some things. You can't do another. Try finding a goddamn venue when you're doing an event. I can't go to Westworld where it's $4,000 to have an event there because it's BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, owned by the government. Impossible to do. So there's just so many barriers that we have, and everybody knows it in the industry, and then you get taxed. You don't want to tell them that you're from the cannabis industry, because if you do that, then anything you're buying is going up. So it's So
they're still treating us unfair in that way.
That happens all the time.
Like, who are you going to tell? And they turn the screws on us.
It's just it's not that. It's you're making great money. You're in the cannabis industry, so our prices for this normally, but they don't tell you because you don't get the normal price. You get the higher price because they ask you what you're doing event wise. So you get a price that's higher on those things. Usually it's 20% plus higher on it. Everybody, it's a cannabis tax. I call it.
You're used to it.
I started my tents for $45 to rent when we first started this thing, and they're $50 to buy. As soon as I learned that, my first event, the second event, I bought them because it's just, you're not going to let these people gouge me for things all the time.
Yeah,
it's just it's
brutal.
Do
you have anything else you want to talk about in the political side? Let me hit this thing.
Yeah, fine.
Because I do want to make sure we give you enough time to.
No, I mean, I'm not really the political side of it.
Okay, cool.
It's
or just like teaming up, like you were saying.
You know how it is. I believe in that. They should. I don't. Again, we're an event. People don't give a fuck what. I mean, I don't like to push our views on anything. It's even when we were doing the going for the law for passing it. We believed in passing it, but we weren't on anybody's side or anything. So when it comes down to it, I mean, we're just an event. If you personally look at it, I wish more people would come out. We try to form something that it has the ability to be a lobbyist, because the biggest lobbyists out there are the alcohol and tobacco ones, and that's because they're together and they push a lot of laws because they are what they call a luxury tax or a luxury item per se. And that's what the category we're in. We should be looking at the same thing. And I don't know if it's possible because just like anything, you have a lot of different groups that are against it. But all those ones seem to come together on things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's possible. And I wish it would happen, but because it should be more about the flower and then it should be about the money type of thing. It should be more about how we make this. It's more of a benefit to people to where they're not. I mean, they still look down upon us there about it. You talk to people in the Capitol side, especially I'm a Republican, you know, that's been voted that way in my life, you know, because my old man would tell me, you know, the difference between that is the Democrats take our money, Jim, and Republicans let to keep our money, and I think it's better for us to do it. So I'd always get brought up that way, but they were dicks. Every time I went to them about the laws, none of them, those motherfuckers. And you talk about it and you make it to where they would seem like they'd understand it, but they didn't want to be on that side at all. And then the Democrats all be on that side, and it was like, I'd go and say, what's the problem? Because, you know, if you look at it, there's no real bad things on this, and it is now a law. You should be looking at it as a commodity, just like anybody looks at it.
Yeah.
If you look at it as a commodity, then you're going to make money off it, because you would look at it as a capitalist. You should have more things happening with it. They look as a drug still.
Yeah.
And down on it. Hopefully that will change. That's actually just getting representation in those sides. People look at it differently. You know, it's just, I don't think that's going to happen real soon. Hopefully it will.
Hopefully. Cool. Put you on the spot here. You could say no. Hey, can we do anything fun ticket-wise for the viewers?
Yeah, man. What would you like?
I don't know. What do you think? What's something fun? Can we get like some camp tickets or?
Hey, you want some VIP camp tickets you can have? I got VIP cup tickets too.
I heard it. So we're going to do something fun. We'll do like a raffle or something.
Yeah.
So appreciate you, man.
No problem.
Thanks, dude.
No problem, my buddy.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for letting us use your spot.
Easier to come this way than me to go your way.
You're always welcome back to come on the show. Are you down to come back? If you
always.
We'll promote more of the Errl Cup.
Anytime, just let me know.
Cool. Thanks a lot, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the show, guys.